Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. This is Pule the Sage. Welcome on tonight's program on Abundant Mindset with Pule the Sage. Welcome. Let's give some of our people a chance to come in as we wait a few seconds. Just a few seconds. Thank you for making it. Thank you for making it. I'm just waiting for some of our friends to log in onto our. Am I live? Okay. Yeah. All right. Yes. Thank you, Stephen. Hello, Stephen. Hello, Tamsi. Thank you for joining me today. Hello, Sipiwe Dlamini. Welcome today. Welcome this evening on Abundance Mindset with Pule the Sage. Welcome. Let's just give our friends some few seconds and we will commence with our program. Thank you for joining me. While we wait for our friends, let us just recap on last week's program so that we understand for the new members, so that they understand where we are. And last week we dealt with the enemies against your talents, the expression of your talents, the enemies against the expression of your gifts. Welcome, Jonathan Van Rooyen. Welcome again. Thank you, Stevie. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you so much. Yeah, welcome everybody. As I said, while we're waiting for more people to come on board, just a quick summary of what we dealt with. I'm going to rush through it so that we give context to the new members who are here. Last week we dealt with the issue of the enemies against our talents. The first enemy being self-doubt, the second enemy being lack of self-love, and the second one being miseducation, the third one being lack of self-love and lack of self-worth. The fourth one is lack of visualization and imagination. The fifth one is fear. The sixth one is cultural limitations. The seventh one was yourself. The eighth one was belief systems of others. The ninth one was people pleasing. And the 10th one, okay, number 7 was laziness, and then number 11 was ignorance. Yes, today we're going to deal with self-doubt as one of our first issues that we're dealing with. Thank you again for joining. Thank you, Matumo Mpatlele. Welcome. Thank you, Siyabonga Ngobo. Welcome. Thank you so much. God bless you for being here. I'm happy to be with you. You know, when I was a young boy, I've got a brother. He's about 2 years older than me. I think he was 10 years and I was about 8 years old. And at some stage, he actually called me. He called me, say, Pule, come. His name is Daniel. He called me one day and then he said, Pule, come see, I want to show you something. Okay, yes, he was always, he always had a way of exploring things, and it was always interesting to hang out with him. And he called me to this, and he showed me a lot of ants. He showed me a lot of ants that were crawling across the wall at my home when I grew up. Some were going up, some were going down. I think the length of the line of the ants was actually over 2 meters about so. And he said, I want to show you something. And then what he did, he took his 2 fingers and then did this. You see, when the ants are moving up the wall and the other ones are coming down the wall, the what happens is when the other ones are moving up, the other ones coming down the wall. The they communicate. There's a way they communicate through their antennas, through the scent, because what they do is, if you can look at them, you also check out your ants. Hopefully yours are organized as well, but anyway, so the tendency of ants is that they look down and then they sniff, or rather they detect through the next coming ants, so the ones who are crossing paths with them, and then they smell the scent of where they are going, and then they track going up, and then these ones track going down. So what my brother did, he took his 2 fingers and then he swiped in between the 2 ends that were going to meet with each other. And then this basically caused confusion in the ends progress, or in the ends work. And then the ones that were coming up started, now as they got to where he rubbed with his fingers, they started getting confused. But one thing that amazed me about these ants, or rather something that shocked me about these ants, they kept on looking down and searching while looking down. And the same thing was happening from the one that was going down. So now the reason why I talk about this is, actually in my own house now, I saw this, and then it reminded me of this story with my brother, and I shared it with my daughter. And I asked myself, if this ant, why doesn't it lift its head up? And maybe it would be able to see further than, where the confusion was. This ant could be able to lift up and see where the destiny is, so that they get there in a more efficient way, in a more, controlled, or rather a way that they can manage, I mean, I can imagine, you find, or maybe they've been taught at their school or whatever, that all you do is look down and you just scroll, and you just look down, because if you do not look down, you're going to inconvenience everybody that's following you. Everyone that's following you, you're going to inconvenience them. So you must follow this process. You must follow this process that we are giving you. Don't change, don't think, just do what we tell you. Okay. I can imagine amongst those ends, like some of us, I think some of us would lift up our heads, and lifting up your head represents thinking. You just change dimension and just lift up your head out of the mess that has been presented to you. And you don't know, by lifting up your head to look further than your current situation, you'll be able to find a solution that will benefit even those who are coming behind you. But what generally happens with people is, when they are moving in this way and they find a crisis, they are scared to go within, to find solutions that are not taught in conventional school, or to find solutions outside the box. So that is the significance of the story of the ant that I'm telling you about, is that you should allow yourself to think beyond and above the circumstance. I can imagine, I mean, if, let's say, it's, as I said on our previous video, that it's easy for the devil to deal with a one-minded type of a person. Like, for instance, if the devil wanted to bring confusion to those ends, he would do, and then he'll just wipe there. He would just wipe off the salary, because many people rely on salary. That's their mindset. If I can just take away the salary, there'll be confusion. If I can just take away their job, there will be confusion. And people are not taught to think outside what they have exposed themselves to. So that's what happens. And then if I take out your divorce, I know this type of people, I know this group of people, the mindset, I know they will collapse. You just give it 3 months. I know he won't make it. I know she won't make it. No, let me cause the husband to do this. Let me cause the wife to do this. I know it has worked for many generations, man. It has worked for too long. I know they will work because now that's the importance of having the mind of God. We call it the mind of Christ, the mind that is thinking beyond the five senses, the mind that is able to capture the mind of God, the mind of the Creator. When God created from nothing, he needed a certain kind of mind to bring forth the dynamism, the dynamics of creation, bring forth the existence of life, bring forth from atomic structures right all the way to matter, from atoms to molecules to to cells to matter. God had to think differently to come up with it. And I say we are given an opportunity here to lift up our heads. Through this abundance mindset group, we are given an opportunity to lift up our heads from the norm that we are thinking, because we all agree. I'm sure you read through the questions on the group that said Africa is facing challenges, but it's got so much wealth, it's got so much abundance with it, but it lost. The people that have been blessed with this place have not found an opportunity to think beyond what they have seen. That we've been comfortable with. Sorry about that. We have been comfortable with picketing, demanding, relying on other people to create our reality, to so that we can blame. Blame, by the way, is one of the enemies of your talents. I'm going to edit as we move along. It's one of the greatest things to lose your responsibility over. You must ask Adam about that. I'll tell you. So now, as I said, the devil is able to bring disease, because now through confusion, disease can come. Now, there was a scientific experiment made for between a cat and a dog. Like, what happened is they gave this cat a bowl of food, like nice, savory meat, treats. Yeah, the treats that the cats like. And then what happened is the cat was enjoying. They were actually studying the physiology of the cat in its peaceful state. And then they allowed it to eat. It was eating, and it was so free, and you could see the peace flowing from it as it was eating. And then what happened is they brought in a dog inside the room. They brought in a dog inside the room. And then what the scientists discovered is that the intestines of the cat, the cat stopped, the appetite of the cat, it left. And then the intestines of the cat started tingling. It became so uncomfortable because of its environment. Remember, we're talking about an animal here. It became so uncomfortable with the environment that it got sick, or rather, it got diseased. Disease basically is when your ease, is displaced. You're diseased. You are diseased out of your comfort. You are diseased out of your peace. So from that I learned something that, what, from a place of peace, God resides well in a place of peace, and the mind of Christ, the mind of God, works best in peace. That's why even Jesus, as he was living here on earth, he lived by peace, even to a point where he could control, or rather influence, the environment around him with the aura of peace that was upon him, because he understood the dynamics of being a human being, or being a God here on earth, So now the question comes, okay, the issue here, disease. We're talking about disease here. So the question is, who is governing your mind? If you look at your head, it's shaped sort of like it's like a round, it's domey. It's like a dome, And we talk about the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God. It means there is a king ruling a dominion, you know. So where is your mind? Where is your brain located? Where is your body is controlled by your brain, which is situated in your head. Whatever your brain instructs your body parts to do, they do. So the question is, who is sitting in your dome? Who is sitting in it? Is it the mind Christ? Is it the God mind that allows you to look at the situation like the ants? You look at the confusion, and then you are able to pick up your head. And by the way, when you pick up your head, you are going to be challenged. You are going to be questioned. You are going to be actually attacked, because there are so many people who are obsessed with the status quo. There are so many people who have identified themselves with the status quo that they think if you change the status quo, you are changing them. Failing to realize, or if the status quo changes and they find they are still them, they are still alive, they are still carrying the God within them, it will put them in a better position to actually impact the world with their gifts and talents. Because when you think differently, it means you are using your gifts, your talents that God has given you. You know, you're thinking out of the box, which you are able to navigate in ways that are beyond what you've been taught. And like that, when you are a thinker, it's difficult for an enemy who's been studying human beings for so long to capture you, because God knows that with that special brain that He gave you, with that special mind that He gave you, that only you have, He is able to deposit a certain wisdom, a certain knowledge that has not been deposited before. And you, during that time of existence, during that time of living, you are given a specific role, a specific opportunity to serve humanity according to the instructions of God within you. Every one of us, by the way, we have God in us. We hear Him. I'm telling you, even the greatest of sinners, I'm telling you, that you can try to drink him out, you can try to smoke him out, you can try to lie him out, you fornicate him out, but that truth is always within. That truth, the essence of God in you, it's there. You cannot, I always wonder to myself, Lena, to say, they say God is omnipotent, God is omniscient. Omniscient means God is everywhere. It means God, you look at this glass, God is in this glass. You understand? The molecular structure holding the glass is the energy of God, able to hold things together. The gravity, the energy of gravity. If God would decide, hey, no, Gajibu, I'm retiring a bit from gravity. See for yourselves. It would be a catastrophe. But He is holding everything because everything comes from Him. Everything is in Him. God. So I'm getting back to the issue here, the dome. Hey, I get carried away sometimes when I talk, because I'm so passionate about these things. So the mind of Christ allows you to think beyond, to think above and beyond what you have been taught. So allow Christ to rule your mind. That's also another question. It's a very confusing question, especially with a lot of this religious doctrine that we have been contained with, limited with. There is a truth, and there is a mixed truth. And the most dangerous lie is a lie that is told under God. When you're told, or God said this, your subconscious opens up. You generally believe, and if a person lies under that circumstance, it has a way of crippling you. Like oh yes, I'm explaining the issue of the omnipotent God, who says that he basically forms everything from atom, molecule, cells. He's in the cell. He's everywhere. So, is there a place where we can be without and be without Him? Is there a place where you can be outside of God? Is there a place where you can run away where He's not? There is nothing like that. That is why the best way to deceive you or to deceive a human being is to steal away his truth from him about who he is. Do you know Abraham? By the way, now I'm one of those people who read a lot of things. I explore a lot of things, a lot of books. You know, in the Bible, there's a book that Joshua refers to as the Book of Joshua. When Joshua prayed for the sun to remain for until he conquers the enemies that were there, and then the sun didn't set on that day. But according to the book of Joshua, so I wondered to myself, if the Bible can quote this book, it means there's something in this book. So I searched. I went. Now I take my belief systems very seriously. You know, I take it very seriously because I understand that beliefs govern my life. Beliefs govern my actions, and my actions govern my habits, and my habits govern my character, and my character defines me. You know, so it's very important that I know that when I believe something, I understand what I'm believing. You know, I don't just take anything willy-nilly that anybody says. I've got a responsibility. God has given me a mind to apply. You know, so what happened is Abraham. I read through this book. They call it the Book of Joshua. Abraham he had a father. His father had idols. He was actually a manufacturer of idols, the trusted manufacturer of idols where they lived. So what he used to do, Abraham, he grew up in this business. I mean, you know, like some of you who grew up in places where your father is a businessman, you help. I mean, you are expected to help. So this guy, he grew up in this environment. It has been his conditioning all of his life to think, oh no man, it's okay. But a time came. According to this book of Joshua, it says that the king of then wanted to kill the boys of the time, and then the mother, with the agreement of the father, took the child to his uncle, or his grandfather, called Noah. Noah was still alive at the time, and then Noah was the one who taught Abraham about God. You know, and then Abraham, there was a time after he grew up, he came back after the children, the issue of the children was sorted. He came back, and then he actually challenged his father. He challenged the mindset that grew him up to become who he was, because he looked up by exposing his mind to something beyond what he was taught. So what happened is he broke the idols of his father. He broke them. After breaking them, his father came, and then as he was running away, his father saw it was him. And then his father asked him, "Why did you do this nonsense? Why did you break this?" And then Abraham said to his father, "You know what? No, the thing is, apparently between the idols, there was a big idol and then there was a small idol. So now I tried to," he says this to his father, "I tried to give the small idol the food, and then the big idol fought and killed and destroyed the small idol. And then, that's how basically this, and then there was a fight in here with the idols. That's what he told his father. And his father said, "No, you're talking nonsense. These things," and then he asked himself, how do you then worship things that are dead? How do you worship things like, so you see, he challenged his father's belief system. And the same Abraham that we are talking about is the father of the three major religions of the world, which is Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. All these religions come from one man, Abraham. Why am I telling you about Abraham? When Abraham grew old, when he lost his wife Sarah, he got married to a woman called Keturah. I don't know whether some of you know. I've read the Bible. As I said, I explore and I want to find out where I come from, because a lot of our history has been so, we need to dig deeper to find ourselves, because it's so important to connect the dots so that you know where you are. Similar to that eagle, I'll tell you one day another story about an eagle, just for the sake of time. I want to focus here. Where am I now? Oh yes, Abraham as the father of these religions, and then he married Keturah. Keturah was an Egyptian woman, she was actually a black woman, Keturah, and he had descendants. Abraham had further descendants more than and further than Sarah. Uh, but the history that we've been told, the version of the Bible by the King of England doesn't really cater much for us as Africans in terms of allowing us to find ourselves in God. We've always been dismissed as the adopted sons of God. Those kind of that kind of thinking, it does damage what you don't even perceive, because it undergirds your sense of value, your sense of worth, your sense of self-worth. If somebody tells you that God adopted you, whose child are you? How do you even qualify to be alive when the creator of the heavens and the earth adopted you? I mean, really, some of these things I choose to not believe them, honestly, because God cannot be away from me. God cannot be apart from me. My father can be apart from me physically, and he was an instrument used by God to bring me here. But God is me. He was with me when I was that sperm running to my mother's egg. He was with me when I became a formation from the atom to the molecule, from the molecule to the cell, from the cell to becoming oh my God, a clot of blood, and from there to becoming an organ, to be for my, the heart. Apparently, the heart is the first organ to form. I'll also speak a lot about the heart as we go on. The heart, the carrier of blood, so that now, as this fetus is growing, the blood is pumping life into this fetus. The blood is blood. That's why there's a lot of talk about blood. There's a significant reason why the blood is such an important aspect of spirituality. Oh my God. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Father God, for this. So you see, those are some of the limiting beliefs that we've received as we're growing up. The belief that, we are not children of God, we are children of Satan, or we are children of whoever, and then we are adopted. And, that's a lie. That's a lie. I'm telling you, once you can see yourself, accordingly, correctly, according to the way God, thank you, Lord. If you can see yourself correctly, the self-worth, you'll be able to look at things different. You'll be able to say, no, man. Yes, I see there is this confusion, but I'm tapping into the higher power, the higher mind, the mind of God, who is my Father. You are able to tap in there, because the human beings, that's why we have to fall sick if we allow ourselves to limit our thinking, our lives to the five senses. God gave us more than just the five senses. He gave us the mind of Christ, his mind, the mind of the Creator. So he is there to encourage you under those circumstances where the devil has swiped away your salary, your devil has swiped away your wife, the devil has swiped away your career, your devil has swiped away your health, or you are able to declare, because Christ was able to think beyond. Jesus Christ, when he was here, he was able to think beyond, because he knew that he was connected to the Father of creation. He was connected. He was one with him. He had that understanding. And that is what he brought here on earth for us to do. He came so that we can reconnect with the Father in terms of our minds realigning with the higher level of living, the higher level of existence, tapping into the mind of Christ. I like that, Paul. Thank you, Father God, for this opportunity to speak to your people. So I'm speaking about self-worth. So the homework that I have for you today, I want you to reflect, to think about certain beliefs. I said your beliefs make you up. Certain beliefs that you have. I believe all of you bought your books, your journals. I'm going to get a new one, mine, tomorrow. A very nice one. Get something nice, something that you can give to your great-grandchildren, man. A leather pouch thing. They sell them there in Kum Books. You can get very, very quality journals there, so that when you write some of these things that are helping you to to change your mind. Your children can take that education and take it forward, and their children will know, oh, my grandfather dealt with this issue of self-doubt. How did my grandfather deal with this issue of self-doubt? You know, he dealt with it this way. He spoke the words of God to himself. He agreed with the definition of God about himself. That is what changed his circumstances. And we can do the same thing, because if it worked for granddaddy, if it worked for grandpa, if it worked for grandma, it will work for us. Let us keep such knowledge for our children so that they are not lost and they have to seek themselves everywhere. By the way, one of the reasons why I touched on the issue here, Egypt as well, is I mean, we've been taught that Egypt is evil, Egypt is nonsense, and so on. But one thing I questioned as well was, if Egypt is so evil, why is Europe refusing to let go of the artifacts that were stolen when they were plundering Egypt? Why did they see the need to take artifacts of our ancestors, to store them in their private museums in Europe, if Egypt was such an evil? You see, when they say things like that, and then you ask yourself, but Jesus Christ himself, when God wanted to save him, he took him to Egypt. Jesus Christ learned his primary school in Egypt. If there was such a thing as primary school in Egypt, because since he was a baby, he was there, and he grew up, and then he came to the place. So even Moses as well, he was preserved in Egypt. So those are some of the dynamics, because now when you say Egypt, it's automatically we think about ourselves, because Egypt is in Africa. So those are some of the little dynamics that have a way of damaging the neural pathways of self-worth in your mind. So I thank God for this opportunity. Yes, please get your journals and then make sure that you write that. And then I've had a couple of requests from men. You know, my wife is doing this thing. Yeah, she's a coach. I mean, guys, I don't know whether I'm a coach. She says I'm a coach, but I don't have an ambition to be a coach. I like just sharing knowledge. But you know, one of the things we do, we also run a soccer club where we've got youngsters, and we encourage children in various ways that we can. And there has been a need that has been popping up now and then to say, you know what, we as men, we need to find a way which we can also align our minds, because you know, when you strike a father, you strike the family in a very strategic way, because the father has a way of bringing a certain balance, man. You know, I just don't want to go deep into it now. It will be a topic for another day. But I'm end of this month, I'll be starting a program with the men. You know, wherein we get to redefine ourselves as men, so that we can take leadership in terms of our roles, in terms of the family, guiding our children, you know, being the leaders in our home, being partners with our wives, you know, just making sure that we get the gears right. Because when the father is secured in the mind, he brings peace to the home. When the mind is at ease, when there's no disease in the mind, you know, the whole body has a way of just taking it easy. But get a headache, man. You know, you have to sleep. You have to sleep. No matter how fit or how masculine you are, you have to get a concussion. You have to get to the hospital. You know. So let's fix the ideologies of the leaders of the home, so that we can drive Africa forward in a way that has never been done before. We can do it. I believe we can do it. I believe we can do it. So I will bring more clarity about it as time goes on. And then I will also be joining, for the ladies, I will be joining my wife on the She More Women's Empowerment Conference workshop, wherein we'll be I will be presenting the male perspectives in terms of some of the topics that will be discussed there. I encourage you to join us as we'll be dealing with very fundamental issues that are eating away at your being, eating away at your relationships without you seeing them. You know, things that we I mean, from my marriage, guys, I'm not bragging, but you know, I've got a good relationship here, and I believe when you have seen the light in a certain area, it's always good to share the light so that more people can come to that light. You know, when God has blessed you with something that others have not realized, you know, see it as an opportunity, as a humbling opportunity to serve. So thank you so much for today. I'm going to write down some exercises for you from this, wherein we address the issue of self-worth. And I want you to write on your. I'm going to request you to write on the comment of this particular video the answers to that. I'm going to post it on top of the video, and then you answer those questions. Just deal with those questions so that on Wednesday I'm going to go back live, and I'm going to touch on some of the issues that some of the answers that I will be getting, so that we can have a more engaging discussion regarding this, because it's very important that we significantly identify these enemies. Because when you discover your talent and you are confident to express your talent, you will feed me and the rest of the people. You know, when I discover my talent, I will feed you, so that we grow each other. And as we grow each other, we'll be able to better grow Africa. Because Africa is you and me, my brother and sister. It's you and me. If we grow, it means the true essence of Africa is growing. The issues of development, economics, once we've got those fundamentals sorted out, I'm telling you, no other continent will compete with us. Because we would have found the secret of what and who we are, you know. So thank you so much. I'm going to read the comments now before I log off. Thank you, Yolandi. Thank you. Hello everyone. Thank you, Millicent Ramuka. Thank you. Good evening, Pula the Sage and Paul. Welcome. Thank you. Muntu, welcome. Thank you. Dynamic of creation. Yes, Paul, you're correct. To lift up your heads from the norm, you need to lift up your head from the norm. You know, I've learned this from a couple of nurses. I've apparently, when a baby, a small baby is born, when that baby looks up, when he's a person who's curious about the environment, it's one of the signs of intelligence. So looking up has a very big significance in terms of your thinking. Even when you are doing, maybe you are dealing with a project and it's tough, try it, look up and start breathing. You'll see there will be a release, a refreshing feel to your brain that will come. Try it, it will work. All right, thank you so much. We'll lift up, yes. Mpo, the mind of Christ works best in peace, correct, Mpo. Who's governing your mind? Who's governing the dome of your life? Who's governing your dome of your life? And when you allow, because the Bible says that God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and of sound mind. So when you allow fear to govern your mind, you are shifting the Christ mind, and you're allowing fear to rule. And when fear rules, it brings destruction, because it does not come from the Creator. It's an enemy of the Creator. So you need to come back and make sure that the proper mind of Christ rules you. Catherine, disease, yes. Let's see. God resides well in a place of peace. Oh yes, indeed, my sister. Malebu, hello. Mpo Mokopa, special brain God can deposit. Yes, that's very true. You are special like that. God has afforded you to have that special brain so that He can deposit upon you like that. God, source of everything, holds everything together, for sure. Mpo. Ernest Charlie, yes, Warix, powerful. Thank you so much for that. Malebu, Coach Malebu. I heard someone said I prayed and God showed me, and I was like, never. That's a lie. Hey, God can show you. God can show you. You need confidence to believe that God can talk to you. Beliefs are very important. Yes, Coach Malevo. Yes, Catherine Lily. Abraham married Keturah. You can check it in the Bible. Yes, you are God, sons of the Most High God. Correct, Nomsa. Tap into the mind of Christ. Yes, Paul. Wow, this is mind blowing. Yes, oh yes, yes, and shifting. Yes, great. Let's say self worth. Oh wow, we tend to neglect that at times. It shows. You see, the issue of self worth is so fundamental. You know, that's why the best enemies, I told you the other time, the best enemies are those that are undetected. You see, check how impactful self-worth is in your life. Check how it even lulls your talent. It caves your gifts. You know, and your gifts make room for you. You make money with your gifts. Gifts will open up doors for you. It will make you sit with kings and queens. It will make you sit with multi-billionaires and billionaires and converse and present yourself like that, you know. Thank you, Lord. Neural pathways, indeed. Share the light, my brother. Yes, Leseho. Home leaders. Yes, Manchiri. Thank you. You're welcome. Lebo Mutaung, thank you for today. Welcome, my brother. Karabo Manchiri, Stephen Dutoit, thanks for the opportunity, Pule. You're welcome, my brother. You're welcome. Remember to invite your friends, invite your families. These things that we are discussing, it will help you as well, because you know, you will not blame ignorance on your brothers and some of your associates, because they will have realized some of these limitations that are governing their restrictions of movement or restrictions of thinking. You know, so it's very important that you invite your friends, invite people that you love, that you want to open up their minds. Mr. Karabo Manchiri, yes, Rialewoha, you're welcome on that. Thank you so much. I enjoy listening to you. It's so powerful. Yilandi, thank you for that. Thank you. I also think you are Mantumo, yes, maybe I should enroll for coaching lessons. What is the book again where you read about Abraham? The book is called the Book of Jasher. I'll write the name down on the when I put down the exercises. The Book of Jasher. It is referenced in the book of Joshua. I just forgot exactly where, but if you can type on the internet the book of Jasher according to Joshua, you'll see you'll pick up. Yes, gifts make room for you. Love this. Yes, Patricia Ethel Mulifi. Thank you so much. I thank you and I bless you, and I pray that your desires will be materialized. I pray that you will find yourself in this life. I pray that you will not be deceived into thinking of yourself lesser than what God has defined you to be. Do not allow yourself to be comfortable. Do not allow yourself to be comfortable in a wrong definition about yourself. Do not allow yourself to be comfortable in lack of self-worth. Do not allow yourself to be comfortable in not being yourself, in not representing yourself. When there are two people and you have to represent your position, you represent your position. Rather, the discomfort should be out of you representing your idea and him also, and then that's how we get to understand the dynamics that are governing us, and we are able to overcome, because now we are genuinely dealing with beliefs that are governing us. Because now the thing with religion is it forces people to just accept things at a high level where they don't dig deep within themselves. So thank you for that. Thank you so much. Please become follow your gifts. Do your perform your talents. Find a way to start something. But through the questions, I will guide you in terms of answering this. And I thank you so much for today's live session, and God bless you so much. I love you, and I'm signing out. Thank you. See you on Wednesday. I'm going live again on Wednesday, 7 o'clock. I'll be addressing some of the comments that you'll be writing there. And please make sure you get your journals. And yes, and then I'm going to start that program. I promise. I think the amount of queries are sufficient enough to do that. Thank you so much. God bless you. Bye.